So the 2022 MLB trade deadline has come and gone. And if you're a Texas Rangers fan like I am, you probably feel let down, disappointed, frustrated that the only move the Texas Rangers did was trade our relief pitcher slash closer Matt Bush to the Milwaukee Brewers for prospect Antoine Kelly and minor league infielder Mathias. You're probably expecting the Rangers to make a splash this trade deadline because we are rumored for Juan Soto. So you're thinking if we didn't get him, maybe a compensation would be Luis Castillo or Tyler Mahle or Pablo Lopez or Tariq Skubal. Nope, we didn't go after any of those guys. And we just go and trade Matt Bush, which is interesting. And if you haven't seen that, I made a video on that. But a head-scratching deadline for sure. But we have to weigh the pros and the cons. What is a pro? The Rangers didn't overpay because we didn't add anybody. I think the trade for Matt Bush was solid. You are capitalizing on a 36-year-old who is injury prone and he's having the best season of his career. And we get a solid left-handed pitching prospect in Antoine Kelly, who I would say could be a starter, but most likely transitions to the bullpen. He's already ranked as the Texas Rangers 15th overall prospect. And Mathias probably will be a utility player at the major leagues. He's already on the 40-man roster, so he just took Matt Bush's 40-man roster spot. Antoine Kelly's being moved to AA. Mathias is being moved to AAA. Maybe Mathias can take Charlie Culberson's spot on the team. Mathias is raking at AAA right now. He hasn't had a lot of major league experience, so maybe with more at-bats, he could rake. But it was obviously about getting the pitching prospect in Antoine Kelly. He was striking out a buttload at high A. Rangers are going to test him and move him down to AA. So that's good. We didn't overpay, so I think every single team was having to overpay for the players that they were getting. For crying out loud, Brandon Drury was requiring a top 10 prospect. That is insane. So Pablo Lopez, who I don't think is an ace by any means. A lot of you guys want Pablo Lopez. Same with Tariq Skubal, who has 5 years of team control. Good pitchers. I don't think they are aces. I just think the price market went out of whack with that Luis Castillo deal. They set the market, and then everything went out of whack from there. I don't think anybody went for their true value. I feel like Tariq Skubal probably would have been more expensive than Luis Castillo. I mean, that would just make sense because of the 5 years of team control, but Castillo is better. So I don't know if I would do that. So that's a pro. You didn't overpay. You still have all of your prospects, and you get to see how they can develop throughout the season. Obviously, I have said I think Ezekiel Duran probably needs to go down to AAA, but whatever. We can see what he can do at the major leagues. He still shows that the major leagues isn't too overmatching for him. He shows that the slider may be the only problem. He also chases a lot, but now maybe we can see what we can get in Cole Reagans, Josh Smith, Ezekiel Duran, maybe call back up Sam Huff. We will see how the season progresses. But we also have to remember that most of the work was done at the trade deadline last year with Joey Gallo, the offseason, and the draft. So in the trade deadline last year, obviously we traded Joey Gallo for that big haul, Ezekiel Duran, Josh Smith, Trevor Hauver, Glenn Otto. 3 out of the 4 are already contributing, and Trevor Hauver has been a decent bat in the minor leagues. So that has helped out so far. And in free agency, obviously we had that big haul, John Gray, Cole Calhoun, Marcus Semien, Corey Seager. However, I am surprised that Matt Moore and Cole Calhoun didn't get traded. I get that Cole Calhoun probably didn't have trade value, but still a veteran presence on a contending club. I was shocked a little bit that there wasn't any interest, but I bet Matt Moore had some interest, but I think the Rangers wanted to keep him around, and they probably weren't getting the value that they wanted in return. So I'm guessing that's why we only made that one trade, because I think the market was out of whack. It was crazy with the Soto deal with the Nationals saying we want 4 or 5 top prospects in the organization, and they got that. And then the Castillo deal, it was crazy. Everybody was overpaying right and left. And for a team who's been around 500 this year, obviously not competing. It makes sense that we kind of just stood pat. That's kind of where we are in this phase of the rebuild. And I think we all knew that we can't get too ahead of ourselves, but we want to get our hopes up. And the front office has said from the start, 2023 will be our year, but we like to get our hopes up as fans. What are the cons? We didn't get a starter, and I think it would be good to have gotten a starter, at least a Zach Davies type or Brad Keller. And yeah, I bet the teams were asking for a lot, even for those guys. But that would have helped, in my opinion, especially with John Gray getting hurt. And Spencer Howard had a good start last game against the Angels. He's pitching tonight. We'll see how he does. But Glenn Otto has been shaky. Yes, you have Cole Reagans, who could do something later down the stretch this season. But I think just getting one starter could have helped. And like I said, we didn't trade Matt Moore, but who knows what his value would have been on the trade market. Obviously, the Rangers do value him, but with relief pitchers, you never know if they can reproduce the production. He could get hurt. He could just fall off. So it's kind of a head scratcher for me, especially on a one-year deal. However, the Rangers said they want to work out extensions with both Matt Moore and Martin Perez. Another thing I think would have helped would have been getting a bat. Maybe somebody that could have revived their career like J.D. Davis. Somebody with team control. I get why they didn't go after Joey Gallo because he would be a free agent after the year, but something like J.D. Davis, Austin Meadows, one of those type of guys, somebody that hasn't been good as of late, but you trade for them, they get back on track to what they have done in their career, then that could have really helped out this team. That didn't happen, and they didn't trade for a relief pitcher. They traded away one of their better relief pitchers for a bullpen that started off the season really hot, and it's gone shaky as of late. Kind of like a head scratcher, Trey Bush, but I get it because older pitcher, injury prone, but not trading for any relief pitcher, also a head scratcher. But Cy Young and John Daniels said they believe that they have good depth. And yes, if you look at the names, we do have depth. Doesn't mean they are insane at all. I'll break down the names. AJ Alexi, Taylor Hearn, Josh Sborz, John King, Colby Allard, Jesus Tinoco, Chase Lee, Yeri Rodriguez, Joe Barlow, and Nick Snyder. So that's 10 guys right there. 2 aren't on the 40-man roster, but that is depth. So if we were to have traded Matt Moore, then I bet John King gets called up. And with Matt Bush getting traded, and with John Gray going to the IL, Taylor Hearn and Josh Sborz got the call up. But what would I grade this trade deadline? I would give it a D+. Obviously, I think that trade was a solid one. It was just the only trade we did, and I feel the trade deadline is kind of like Christmas for us baseball fans, so that's why we really get our hopes up. Obviously, this won't make or break the Texas Rangers. There's still a whole offseason where we can acquire talent, you can make trades, sign free agents. Just a little bit of a letdown, but let me know what you think. You would grade this trade line for the Texas Rangers, only making that one trade, Matt Bush to the Milwaukee Brewers for left-handed pitcher Antoine Kelly and infielder Mark Mathias. Let me know in the comment section down below. With that being said, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.